Hey guys, so this video is going to be geared more towards the girl, well, definitely for the girls, but especially if you are a new mom or a mom to be. This video is going to be on my breastfeeding journey. Oh my gosh, what a roller coaster of a journey, by the way. But I wrote everything down, so we're gonna go over how I struggled with it, what I did to help keep supply up when it was up, when we introduced formula, if working out affected my supply, how we're splitting our feeds now between breast milk and formula, and what I'm taking to regulate hormones now that I kind of feel like my supply is tapering off. Okay, so to preface, Ace was born a month early. So usually in that last month, the baby does the most growing, right? And they're eating everything. So when he was born, I mean, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I felt like he was eating more than what Google said he should be eating. And at first I didn't understand, but then it made sense. Okay, he's actually still supposed to be cooking for another month, so he's extra hungry. And he's trying to catch up. He was born at 5 pounds, 8 ounces, I think, and then came home at 5 pounds, 2 ounces. So, oh my gosh, I still very vividly remember the first week of trying to breastfeed. It was the most painful and unpleasant, mentally, emotionally, and physically draining thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I am a very active person. I've always pushed myself to limits. I've played sports majority of my life. And I'm just very mentally strong and emotionally strong too, especially with the crazy pregnancy that I had as well. I was like I should be fine. I was not fine. Oh my gosh. Breastfeeding is a whole different beast. People always talk about pregnancy and labor, but I feel like a lot of people don't talk about how hard breastfeeding is. It really is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. Also too, the first week we lagged on sending my placenta in to get encapsulated, and I just did not feel that bond with Ace. Everyone's like, no, it's such a great bonding experience, blah, blah, blah. I did not feel that. I felt so detached from him, and because he was literally eating, I swear, 18 to 20 hours a day, always, because again, he was preemie. I was so frustrated. One, I was in pain, and two, it's I couldn't do anything. I couldn't wash my face or brush my teeth because he's literally crying and hungry and wanting to eat, blah, blah, blah. So I literally was just sitting and feeding a baby 24/7, what it felt like, which is frustrating because you just feel like you're losing yourself, and you literally can't do the most simple tasks. So not only that, but my hormones were crazy, all over the place. And it was almost like I was getting mad at Ace for wanting to eat, which it should not be like that. But I literally was getting pissed off. I'm like, why are you hungry again? I literally just fed you. You know what I mean? And then not only that, but I literally wanted to rip Tyler's head off every single day for no reason. The hormones, guys. But as soon as my placenta pills came in and I started taking the doses, literally on day 2, it was everything just lifted and went away. It was crazy. So when I say get the placenta pills, get the placenta pills. If I can recommend one thing, just one thing of everything, pregnancy, labor, postpartum, everything, it's get the freaking placenta pills. I swear it was a flip of a switch, and suddenly I had that bond with Ace, and I didn't want to kill Tyler anymore. And it was insane. So get the placenta pills again, please. Okay, so then this is now on week 2 of breastfeeding. It still hurt, it still sucked. And one of my friends then suggested to just do 1 formula feed per day, because then you can get a break and you don't feel like you're just strapped to a baby sitting on the couch all day. Your nipples can get a break, and then dad or grandma, grandpa, whoever can get a chance to feed the baby too and bond with them. So we started doing that, and honestly, it was so helpful and such a great tip. And when you get that extra break, it sounds silly and it sounds like, oh, just like one feeding, like 15, 20, 30 minutes, not a big deal. No, it's like really a big deal. I was able to just relax, and it took a lot of pressure off of me. So we would do, I think, the very last formula, or the very last feed of the night, we would hit him with formula instead. So we started doing that, and then moving on to week 3 and 4. Sometimes if I was like out and I wasn't home in time to feed Ace and there was no extra breast milk, then we would also do a formula feed. So I would say anywhere between 1 to 2 bottles of formula per day, and that started around 3 weeks all the way until Ace was about 4 months. And the decision to do that is a whole other thing on its own of like, there's like this weird guilt almost, but I'm like, no, like I just need to feed my baby because he's so hungry. So like, why do I feel guilty about it? But I think it's just that like motherly thing of, no, I should be able to produce enough. So is it my fault? Like, it's not our fault. I think just every body is so different. And I have friends who right out of the gate were crazy overproducing, like literally their stockpile supply after 1 week is what mine looks like after 6 months. Like, it's wild. So everyone's just different. Fed baby is a fed baby, okay. But yeah, if you are not yet a mom, or you're about to pop, and you're feeling that pressure, like around one week or 2 weeks, totally just have that formula as backup. I swear, like, don't try to be a superhero and like run yourself to the ground trying to like do all these things, especially if they're not working. Like, I was taking these lactation powders and drinks. I was literally doing everything in the book that should help, and none of it helped. So having that extra formula feed was godsend for me. I feel like my supply really started coming in around a month, like 4 weeks in, which is typically normal. Again, everybody is different, but that seems to be like, you know, the normal, most common time frame. And to help keep that supply up, I noticed a lot of things. Mainly, if I was not eating enough or drinking enough, but mainly eating enough, my supply would plummet. So I definitely tried to keep up with my milk supply. I ate a ton of protein, a lot of red meat, and at that point, every single time I breastfed, I was starving. So it was kind of easy to keep my supply up. And yeah, I think that was really it. And just make sure you're hitting your calories, like really, because like I said, there would be days where like I wouldn't have the chance to eat, or like I would have to skip lunch, or I just wasn't hungry, and I would literally notice that like my next pump, the supply was drastically lower. And then too, because I was getting a higher supply, we were still doing the formula feeds because I still wanted Tyler to feed him and bottle feed him and all that stuff. I would save one of the pumps per day and freeze it for like future use. If you're only pumping enough for just the day and using formula, like that's totally fine. Kind of just like do what you need to do. But in my mind, I was like, okay, well, whenever that time comes, I would just rather have, or make sure I have like an emergency stash just in case. So if that means like doing 3 formula feeds and then 3 bottle feeds and then saving one, then I would totally recommend, just because you don't know when your breastfeeding journey or your like nursing journey is gonna stop. And if it comes early, at least you have a stash that you can still kind of like use in the future. The next question that I got a lot was if working out affected my supply. And in short, I would say no. I don't think I felt or saw any drop in my supply really. I had a C-section, and so I didn't get cleared to start working out at 8 weeks, but I was already starting to move my body and just do like body weight around 6. And so the first 2 months, I wasn't like pushing myself at all, because I was literally like, I had to completely rebuild my core, which we all do. So everything was really light. But I feel like in the last 2.5 to 3 months, that's like when I really started being able to push myself. And I would say no. I saw more depletion in my supply when I didn't eat or when I was skipping meals and I wasn't drinking enough. So I think all in all, the eating portion is the most important for sure. Okay, so now Ace is 6 months and a week old. My supply, I feel like, really started dropping about 8 days ago. And when I say dropping, I mean like down to 50%. And in the past month, we were probably doing 60% breast milk, 40% formula, but some days it would be more formulas, other days it would be more breast milk. It kind of just depends. It kind of just depended on like what was working for us and our schedule, what we were doing that day, when I could pump, when I couldn't pump, like etc. So in the last week, I was only really able to pump about 3 feedings. Ace is taking anywhere between 5 and 6 bottles per day at anywhere between 6 to 7 ounces per feeding. So what I started doing is like, okay, if I'm really nearing the end and the supply is just tapering off, then I'm going to feed him 2 of the feedings, and then the last pump I'm going to freeze and save it for later, because if I stop producing in about a month, at least I want to be giving him like 1 feeding of breast milk per day until all of our frozen supply is gone. This way, like, even though I'm not producing, he still has it, if that makes sense, you know? So when we were in New York, oh my gosh, I think also too with like traveling and then loss of appetite, and now when I pump, I don't get like starving like I used to. I don't know why, and I'm obviously pumping more because the older he gets, like the more your milk comes in, and because it's like matching up to how much they need to be eating, I'm like not hungry, and so I'm just not really eating as much, and I'm trying to force feed myself. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, no, like I need to just eat, and I would force feed myself, but like that's just like I feel sick, and it's like mentally it's just annoying, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then even with like drinking water, it's just so hard to be constantly drinking, especially when you're on the go and you're like, well, I don't want to have to pee every 5 minutes. Like that's just annoying. It's just, and I don't want to sound like, oh, well, I'm a bad mom, because it's like, it's not about you. But at the same time, like, if I'm so frustrated and like so focused on this stuff, I feel like sometimes it takes away from like my relationship with Ace and like how I'm with him and around him and like my feelings towards him. It sounds so weird, but it's definitely a thing. And so, so I was getting really frustrated in New York because I just was not producing as much at all, and we actually ended up running out of the formula that we used, which was then annoying because I'm like, gosh. So we had to like go out and find formula. We couldn't find the brand that is like our backup, so we had to use another brand, which I wasn't like stoked on because I'm really big on ingredients and stuff, but I was like, whatever, like it's gonna be just a few feedings. And it was fine. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you just have so many emotions and thoughts, and like then there's guilt, but then there's not guilt, and it's just like all these weird feelings to navigate, and there's like no handbook to help guide you through it all, you know? Oh, and then too, because my supply has been depleting, I feel like the hormones, like the crazy hormones, are just happening again. This last week, I was so like just snappy and easily irritated, and I like couldn't figure out why. But then it dawned on me, I remembered everyone said, oh, save your placenta pills, because when you are like tapering off from producing, your body is like out of whack and like trying to just like become normal again and go back to like what it was when you weren't breastfeeding. So it's like a whole new set of changes. So because of that, this morning I took my placenta pills again, and literally, I already feel so much better, and I don't want to rip Tyler's head off, and he doesn't annoy me with everything that he says, and he literally wasn't doing anything, but like that's just how hormones are. So when you get the placenta pills, I would say it says to go on this like 3-week process. So the first week you're taking 9 pills a day. The second week you are taking no, I'm sorry, you're taking 6 pills a day, and then the third week you're taking 3 pills a day. Then after that, you can take 1 per day, or you just take it as you need. So I knew, like, okay, I'm gonna do it for 4 weeks, and then I'm gonna save the rest of the stash for when I'm done breastfeeding. So luckily I still have it. And also placenta pills never expire. So I have friends whose moms would like keep their stash, unused stash and unfinished stash from every single kid, and they use it for menopause, and that totally helps regulate hormones and all of your symptoms from menopause too, which is literally crazy. It's literally crazy. So yes, I started taking my placenta pills again, which is good. I talked about how my supply was dropping on my stories today, and a few people recommended Legendary Milk, which is a brand that I have heard before and was recommended in the very beginning. I've spent so much stupid money on all these stupid lactation powders and like foods and whatever, thinking like it's gonna work, and it literally did nothing. I'm sure maybe it works for other people, but I'm like, I don't know if this is a sales gimmick or what, but we're gonna try this because it's actually been recommended many times and it's safe, clean ingredients. But I'm gonna try that out for probably a month or two. Right now, without the supplements I just bought, I feel like I'm probably like 1 month out, but I already give myself a lot of credit for even getting to the 6-month point. I feel like that's a huge accomplishment. For girls who like go over a year, I'm like, I don't know how. Like it's a lot of work. It's literally a lot of work. 'Cause the whole day, my whole day is literally revolved around like when I have to eat, when I have to drink, and like, did I drink enough yet? No, I don't. So then I get stressed out. Did I eat enough? No, I didn't. Oh my God, I need to eat a ton now and like hopefully like get enough protein in. And then there's other days where I literally have no appetite. And like I said, I'm forcing myself to the point where I feel sick, and then I'm frustrated and I'm annoyed because I feel meh. And then it's just like, oh, yeah. So, yeah. And then too, because of like having to keep your calories up, I feel like I'm still holding on to like that extra baby weight, which is fine. I really have become like so chill and given my body so much grace like post baby. But then like sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm pushing myself so hard at the gym, but I'm still craving like crappy foods and eating randomly because I'm just trying to keep the calories up for the supply. So I feel like it almost like counterbalances, and it's like I'm not seeing results as quickly because I'm still breastfeeding and doing this and doing this. And then again, like then the guilt comes in. It's like, well, I should do what's best for my baby, but then it's like, but it's my body and like I want to feel good, you know? It's just like all freaking things. So anyways, if you guys feel that way, I just want to let you know that you were literally not alone. I'm pretty sure all of us feel that way. And then there's some girls who are really lucky who have no issues with it at all. You guys are blessed. But yeah, so that's pretty much my journey in a gist. It's hard. It really is so hard, but solidarity, girl, like we all are here to help each other. Like I said, a fed baby is a fed baby. Like you gotta just do what works for you, okay? Like at the end of the day, there is no wrong answers. I was a formula fed baby from the very beginning. So was Tyler, and we're both healthy. So obviously we're fine. But I think because my mom didn't breastfeed, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. I'm just gonna see how long I can go and do it. And I didn't really, at first I wanted to go a year, but I was like, okay, if I don't make it a year, at least 6 months. Because that, again, like I said, is already a really big accomplishment. Any time, any point is a huge accomplishment, really, because of how much of a mental, emotional, and physical toll it takes on you. But okay, anyways, I hope that helps. And like I said, I will keep you guys updated on the Legendary Milk supplements. But I feel like if I don't see a difference after a month of taking them, then I'm over it. And it's done. It's a done thing for me. But yeah, so I would say right now too, the amount of milk that I have saved up will probably last me another month after I stop. And I'm just trying to give him anywhere between like 4 to 7 ounces of breast milk, like frozen breast milk, because all the volumes are different, because some of them I saved from the very beginning, other times I saved when my supply was like super crazy. So the goal is just to give him one feeding, even if it's half a feeding a day, because there's just so many great things and benefits. And everyone has told me that as long as your baby is still drinking breast milk, like it helps prevent them from getting sick. So we're definitely gonna try and ride that wave out as long as we can. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys back here very soon.